Hey, football fans, this is Gary Greene, longtime Las Vegas handicapper and professional sports bettor here in Las Vegas for the past 35 years, publisher of the Blue Book Football Betting Magazine for the last 30 years. And this is Gary Wins Videos. And this is a college football report for week number 11. And this segment is called Revenge Games That May Matter. And basically, every week every game on the board is a revenge game for one of the two teams because one of them had to lose last year if they played last year. Not everybody played last year, but for the most part, most of these matchups they've met up in the last couple years. But the reason I bring it up is oftentimes there are situations where one of the teams now may have seniors. This may be their best team that they haven't won for 3 straight years, like the first game I'll talk about with Penn State. So it's a doubled circle game. It does not mean they're going to win. It does not mean that they're better. It's just the situations that you look at, and this is one of the many things that I look at when trying to make my selections for my final cut of games that I'm going to bet each and every week. So I'll give you the revenge situation team, and then I will give you the revenge alert level of it actually happening where they get the victory this week. Now, some of these teams might not even have to win because of the spread. So they could be an underdog. They can be getting points. In this case, Penn State's getting points, and they could actually lose the game and still cover. So you have to take a lot of things into consideration. But if you really like somebody in a revenge spot and they're getting points, then wow, you're getting great value. So when we look at Penn State, they lost 20-12 last year to Ohio State. They've lost 3 straight now. They lost by 8, 13, and 4. And this has really been the problem with Penn State and their head coach, James Franklin. He cannot win these big games. It just is what it is. Michigan couldn't beat Ohio State for a long time. Then all of a sudden, the last 2 years, they beat them, and last year they end up national champ. When you're in the Big Ten, you can't afford to lose this game. It'll almost knock you out for the past million years. But now with the playoffs, you could lose games and still get in there. So there's a little less urgency, I guess you could say, and I think we've seen that already this year from some of the better teams already taking a loss that you might not have seen if there was no 12-team final playoff and just the same format of 4. So last year, Penn State with the same quarterback who is injured and is a game time decision, so that makes this game almost unbettable to me. But I'm just trying to give you great information if I can. But they only gained 49 rushing yards on 26 carries. Now, Ohio State, to me, they came in. This coach is on the his seat is so hot that I've never even seen it before with a high-end school team. But they get the victories for the most part most of the time, and then you just say, wow, this guy, he couldn't beat Michigan. He couldn't. He's going to have to beat Michigan this year, and he probably will because Michigan's down. But he has to win this game now, or it's going to be the same pressure for the rest of the way. So this is the biggest game of the year for both teams. Both teams had this game circled from the beginning. Penn State and Ohio State knew they were going to be at this point in time where they are. The fact is that they both knew Michigan wasn't going to be in there in the conversation. So it's down to these two for the most part. And this is a game where Ohio State, to me, has not been that great this year. They have these top end wide receivers. I'm not real high on the quarterback at Ohio State. They struggled last week, which is what I told you on a video that there was a look ahead possibility. And now this is a game where they're going to play Penn State for basically all the marbles. The winner of this game's for sure probably going to be ending up in the Big Ten championship, which is a huge game because the team that wins the Big Ten is going to get one of those top 4 seeds and get a bye. Can Penn State get the job done? I don't know. They struggled against Wisconsin last week. They showed me who they were every time they play on the road. Their struggle under Franklin, the offense just doesn't get going. Is very conservative, way too conservative. But there's some coaches that do that, play not to win or play not to lose, and then there's other ones that go full force, like Ole Miss. They would never sit on the gas, take off the gas pedal. They hit it hard every single week. And so it's different coaching philosophies. But can Penn State pull off? They probably must have their quarterback in there, and he must be able to be not injured, and he must be able to play a perfect game. I don't think that this Penn State team can win turning it over more than one time. That's the max. Ohio State, again, overall better quarterback, better wide receivers. better running backs. Running back room at Ohio State may be best in the country, and that's why I'm disappointed with this team. They should just be blowing everybody out with the loaded roster that they have, but they don't because their coach just isn't that good. He's not good at adjustments in game. That's his problem. Next up, we have Indiana, a team that's been just a moneymaker. This team came out of nowhere, really. I knew after 1 week that this team had it because I love their coaching hire of Curt Cignetti. I think this guy's been a winner everywhere he's went, and he recruited. He went out and got the transfers, man. He went crazy with transfer portals, but he blended them. He made them work. This guy's a fantastic coach. He's a fantastic game day coach, X's and O's adjustment wise, and this team is just knocking it out of the park. They've hit a grand slam so far. This is a revenge spot because last year they lost 24-21 to Michigan State, who is not really that good at all. And so they're going to be really up for this game when you're a team that's now running good. And that's the situations I'm trying to tell you is that this team is really, really good now. Everybody on this board right now, for the most part, I would say is improved and playing at a good level right now. That's why I chose these as the revenge spots to talk about. But you have a situation here with Indiana where they gained almost 400 yards last year and just couldn't get the job done. Now, it's a lot different team this year, and that's another thing with revenge. If you have all new players, like in this situation, Colorado was that way, a lot of transfer portal ads. It's not the same as it used to be in the old days, but you can be assured that they don't want to lose against this lower-tier Michigan State team, and they have just played solid week after week after week. Now, they had their quarterback out last week. He should be coming back possibly this week. Rourke, if that's the case, the offense should ignite right back up. They were a little notch or two below last week, which we expected. Washington's defense has always been good, but they were able to dominate that game. They made turnover after, caused Washington into trouble, and I just love this Indiana team this year. The revenge alert is super solid. Baylor, they lost badly to TCU last year, 43-17, and I like this Baylor team now of late. The coach is on the hot seat. He's got to keep winning and winning. This team is playing better as the year progressed. The defense is playing better. The offense looks pretty good, and so I would give the revenge revenge alert level to be solid. Next, we have a game on Wednesday night, so hopefully you're going to see this video before that game. But Jacksonville State is going to take on Liberty, and Jacksonville State is a team that is fast rising. They went from looking terrible, Rich Rod, in the beginning of the year. His team just looked out of sync. Now they look like they're hitting on all cylinders. Their offense is crazy. I mean, high octane would be cheating them. This team has been scoring points like crazy. And, in fact, they have 4 straight wins, 44 points, 67, 54, and 42. And they're catching Liberty off the loss last week that just crushed their season. 27-point favorite Liberty was last week, and they got beat straight up to Kennesaw State, one of the 3 worst-ranked teams in my ratings. Just I don't know how you recover from that. We saw 2 weeks ago, I told you last week, Texas was going to have a tough time off their big loss. They at least lost to a good team. This Liberty team completely looked past that game. I don't know why. I understand that you may not cover a 27-point spread. You don't have to be up for the game in that manner, but to lose straight up, that's bad. This team's deflated. Jacksonville State's running real hot right now. I would give the revenge alert level to be super high. Appalachian State, they lost 28-21 last year to Old Dominion. I'd give the revenge alert level just medium because Appalachian State's really not great this year like they haven't been in years past. Next, we have one of my favorite games of the year, and it's because I love the academies, but it's a big rivalry game. So Air Force and Army and Navy, they circle that game. Those are the 2 biggest games of the year as they go for the Commander's Cup. But this year's Air Force team is not just bad. They're one of the 3 worst teams in college football, so they could circle anything they want. This team is not beating Army. It's just a matter of how bad they get beat. So the revenge alert, they lost 23-3 last year with a much better team. The fact is they ain't winning this game this week. So, there's zero level of possibility of an upset and them getting revenge on Saturday. Minnesota. This is a team that I talked about in one of the videos that I liked. Sneaky good. They're sneaking up. Nobody knows about this team. Quiet. That's a good time where you can grab some good bets sometimes because you're able to get value on the bets because the bookmakers aren't paying attention either. If you're not right there in the top 25, they're not overly understanding how good you might be playing. And especially if teams have guys that come back from injuries, we have that all the time. Some go down, but how about when you're coming back from injuries? That's not included in what the stats were, the box scores of games all year long. So we have 8, 9 box scores for some of these teams now. So if all of a sudden guys came back, say 5 weeks ago, and now these new guys are helping out, starting to gel, that's a difference maker. And so stats, you got to throw them out. You got to know what stats to properly look at, and that would be the case of this Minnesota team. And they're going to catch an Illinois team that came off a loss last week. Illinois is still a team that's been well coached, playing better than what their roster shows. They have been an upswing all year long. Can they bounce back off the loss? The way Minnesota's playing, I would give the revenge alert level to be very solid. And then the last game we're going to look at is can't even read it too good. Oh, this Kentucky team. I'm going to do another video of major disappointment teams in college football next after this one, and Kentucky's in that list. They have really just crashed. They're not just crashed or crashed and burning right now. The offense can't score any points. The defense is not terrible, but the team just has no real shot going forward, and they're not going bowling. They know it. We know it. I know it. Anybody with common sense knows it. So it's going to be hard for these kids to get up for these games going forward. Now they're taking on a Tennessee team that they've lost 3 straight to. That 2 of the last three meetings were very competitive. Kentucky lost heartbreakers by 3 and 6. But right now the revenge alert rating to me is so low. It can't be 0 because it's still college football right now. There's no one that separating himself that much, and we saw it last week with Liberty getting upset like that, but I doubt it. It's just probably not going to happen. Tennessee has already got their loss, so they can't afford any more, and they need to take advantage of a team. And they got a shot here to kick down basically like a wounded dog and just knock them out. And Tennessee's got too many weapons, so I wouldn't be looking for a revenge upset here for Kentucky on Saturday. So try to do that segment each and every week, get you up to date on a handful of important games where revenge does matter. And hopefully this will help you in your betting, not whether or not these games win, lose, or draw, but just something for you to look at and try to assess if you're trying to become a better winning handicapper. And this will help you because this is a solid situation that I looked at for 35 years now to be a winning sports bettor. This is important. And every week there's usually one game in that situation that might stand out above all the rest. And that's the game that you want to pound on. So you can make some money for yourself and continue to be a winning bettor and beat the books. That's all we're here for, beat the books. If you want to ask me any questions, you can email me at GaryGreeneWins@gmail.com. And you see in the background there, Greene is Greene. So it's GaryGreeneWins@gmail.com. Send me an email with any questions you might have, and I will try to answer them as soon as possible. Don't forget to bookmark us to hear all our videos and get notified from the different sites we load these videos up. And enjoy the week, and have a great winning week, and don't bet what you cannot afford to lose. Have a great one tonight.